Communication Error.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? It is episode 29 of Communication Error, a gaming debate podcast where we may not always agree, but if we listen to what one another has to say, maybe we'll be able to fix our communication error. I'm one of your hosts, Cheesy, and the man who I think was probably really bored this weekend because the Eagles are on a bye week, John Ebo.
What's up? I was bored. I was watching. What's up?
Remember that bit? What was that?
Yeah.
2000?
I was like 1999,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, from Scary Movie, which we both just watched recently.
We did. Well, you know what? It's not from Scary Movie, though, right?
It's not?
No, it's a Budweiser commercial. That's what they're riffing off of.
So I thought I didn't know which one came first.
I'm pretty sure it was Budweiser. I don't know. I'll have to show you that after.
Yeah. I do. I remember that being a big thing back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anybody who is too young to know what that was, sorry for probably one of the corniest openings to this podcast.
Yeah, and if you're too young, Budweiser is kind of root beer. Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was good. What did I do? I went to see the Marvels, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was super fun, and if it's a good movie to shut your brain off. And
yeah, it's one that I also saw. It's like you don't take it too seriously. There's some fun moments that happen, and it's a quick movie too. So I think it's like their shortest Marvel movie.
I think it's like an hour and 50 minutes, maybe
something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a fun time.
Kamala, I don't know what her real name is, but Ms. Marvel, she's the best. She's just the best.
Yeah,
she's just so fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. And she just has like that really fun energy. Like she's a fan of everybody, but still is trying to be, like keeping it all together as a teenager and trying to be professional. And I think there's a big difference between her and like Peter Parker in Spider-Man, because like Peter also kind of fanboys about like Tony Stark, but you can also see with Kamala's character, or Kamala, she's like super fangirling about Captain Marvel, and it's like that, I guess, teeny boppy kind of energy. That's just, it's fun. It's just fun.
I know a lot of people were saying like it was a little over the top, but
no.
Have you ever interacted with a teenager? Like that is how they act. Like they are super fans. Everything's like scaled to 11.
Mm-hmm.
It's all turned up. So I found it realistic, and they even kind of referenced it. Like she even said like sorry for coming on too strong in the beginning, and I don't know. I thought it was a really fun movie. Kelsey really loved it. The Flarkin scene was amazing.
Yeah.
And even the
really
scene
funny
that I know everybody hates. Like if that was in a Guardians movie, people would eat it up. They would have ate it up.
Are you talking about the Flarkin scene or what?
No. The singing scene.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Because it's, I don't know, like how much we're gonna spoil it. Apparently, people didn't really go.
Yeah, sure. Nobody saw this,
so doesn't matter if we're talking about it or not. This isn't about Marvel in our podcast. Well, it is about our podcast, which all of you should go and review. Give us 5-star reviews of this podcast. What you like about it, what you don't, doesn't matter. Just give it 5 stars, and then tell your parents, tell your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncle, tell your dog, your cat. They'll probably listen. The cat, I don't know, actually. The cat might just ignore you.
Yeah,
but it's still worth telling them.
You can't. Side note about the Marvels again. I think they did a really good job on showing how a cat acts.
There's a couple of scenes that are very like, didn't need to see that, but yes,
but
that
it was
is
like,
how a cat behaves.
It was like, yes, that is accurate.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah. You can also follow us on all of our socials, Com Error Podcast. And what else, Johnny? What do we tell the people to do?
Check out the Patreon. Thanks to Jailer, Mikey, and Jeff for your continued support. We do need to get more stuff up on there, but we're working on it. We're still new.
Yeah. We're not even a year out yet. You guys have been fantastic and really helping us out. I mean, like, with how many episodes we have and the support that we have gotten, it's been incredible. And all thanks to you guys. And if you want to be part of next week's episode for our community patch notes on the topic that we'll get to, Stealth 40K will be on next week. And we're really excited. If you don't know who Stealth is, they mainly post on Twitter, but they're all about RPGs and financials and just Nintendo in general. So I think it's going to be a really fun episode that you won't want to miss out on. So if you have any questions, comments that you want to ask Stealth, make sure you leave your comments.
You can also do that in the Discord. We have a section for that as well. So join the Discord. But I think that's it. I think that's all the server maintenance we have. So we are talking about. I honestly don't know how to phrase this because I was confused on what we were trying to talk about, but I believe we landed on the future of Nintendo, and then we'll intertwine some RPG stuff in there as well.
Yeah, I think that's good. Where do you want to start?
Well, so I mean, I love numbers. I love financial data.
You also own Calculator on Switch.
I have a calculator on Switch, so everybody knows I love numbers.
Yes.
So the financial data for Nintendo came out last week. Was it last week?
Yes.
It was last week. And I think that is a good indication on how or where they're going to go in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, based on the financial information, we know that they're super healthy. We know that the Nintendo Switch is still. I think the Nintendo Switch actually sold more units this past 6 months than they did last year in the same time frame, or around the same.
Okay.
I think they sold like almost 7 million at this point last year, and almost 7 million at this point this year, which is kind of phenomenal because it's been out so long. Like it's been almost 7 years on the market, and it's still selling really well. It sold, I think the total units is 132 million units out there. Now, I think Tears of the Kingdom did help with that, because that sold 19 million copies in the first 6 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure people picked up a Switch just to play it. But I think the future is bright for Nintendo right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go off of, just like you said with those financials. There's their games. Mario is doing really well. Zelda's doing really well. And that sounds dumb to say because it's Mario and Zelda, but those are the big games right now that are on their best-selling Switch games. And you have Mario Odyssey. Wonder is probably gonna creep up on that list. Maybe
it's gonna be close.
Yeah, because it's deluxe. Wii U
Deluxe is at like 16 million copies, and we don't have. I don't think we have much time left for the Switch. Like maybe a year, 2 years max.
Depends. I mean, like, are we just going to see kind of another iteration of the Switch? Yeah, it will be a new console, but could it just be Switch 2? I think that still counts as the Switch name carrying over and us still having time with the Switch.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, we have PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know many people that consider them, like, I don't know, they don't have the same games on there. Like, if you know, the Switch 2 comes out, like, I don't know how many people are buying PlayStation 4 games on PlayStation 5. Like who's
Mm,
buying
yeah, that's a good point.
Ghost of Tsushima? Well, I guess some of these have updates, which I'm assuming the Switch 2 will get updated versions of their game of the Switch games, and it will sell. But I don't know if that would count towards the the Mario Wonder Switch sales, or if that's going to count towards Switch 2 sales.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's incredible even thinking about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because those Mario Kart 8 those numbers carried over, didn't they?
No.
Oh, they didn't?
So the 57 million is only Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Oh, okay. Well, that
And then
makes more sense.
and Mario Kart 8 sold like 8 million copies or something.
Right.
Which is, when you think, the Wii U only sold 13 million copies,
Mhm.
and 8 million people bought Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
So you're almost at 80% attach rate,
Mhm.
which is, I don't know, all they need to do to make the next system successful is launch a Mario Kart on it.
Yeah.
Like the day of Mario Kart 9, that's the launch title, guaranteed success.
For sure. Yeah, and it I mean, like you know that they're going to be making more Mario Karts. I know that you've said that you want them to do a live service Mario Kart. Maybe that's the direction that they're headed. I don't think that it is just because that's just not how Nintendo operates. And now they have a Mario Kart attraction at their theme park. They're going to open one in Florida that hasn't been opened yet. So Mario Kart is definitely on their mind. And maybe it will turn into Nintendo Kart. I mean, we were kind of halfway there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the next Mario Kart game is going to be Mario Kart, because I think what they're going to do is they're going to, like, they're not going to leave all those Mario Kart 8 Deluxe owners in the dust. I don't think they'll have
What do you think they're doing?
they'll do some sort of updated version for the Switch 2, but then they'll have a Nintendo card on the side or some other type of
Hmm.
kart game on the side, and then have them run parallel. Because
Okay.
57 million people, like that's a
Yeah.
big user base just to leave behind.
Right. So, and I think you bring up a good point that their numbers are improving constantly, and they have so many players that they never had before. You can't leave all those players behind. So, how do you move forward and maybe try to do something different, but then also keep in mind that you have to bring along the fan base that has gotten you this far?
I mean, I think at this point, a lot of people are wanting a more powerful system, and I
Hmm.
also think they have their hooks into Nintendo fans. So no matter what they release, Nintendo
Yeah.
fans are going to buy.
I mean, I hope that's the case because something that I want to see in the future are new IPs. I mean, I know that we talk a lot about how it's not the climate for new IPs in gaming and movies, shows, whatever, because it's just hard to sell. You put in so much money into a new idea and then it doesn't even sell. That sucks.
Yeah, but Nintendo
And
has the money
they do.
to flop. They have the money to flop.
Yeah,
And
but it's scary because like thinking about the WarioWare series right now, I I don't know. It doesn't look very good.
yeah, but I mean, how many units does that have to sell to be a success?
I
Probably not
don't know.
many.
Why
Probably not
why haven't
many.
we seen Arms 2?
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't understand what they did with why Arms 2, or why that didn't happen. I don't know what that team develops. Do you know what they develop?
I don't. No.
Because maybe I mean they probably got shifted onto other projects, but I do think Nintendo kind of got complacent, especially nowadays. Like we knew Tears of the Kingdom was coming. Like how many years ago? That was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2019, E3 2019.
But outside of that, and well, we got surprised with Mario Wonder, but outside of that, we're not really getting anything unexpected from Nintendo right now, and I think they're holding it for the next system. There's no doubt in my mind that Nintendo is holding things back. You're telling me
Sure.
like they've been developing a Mario Kart for these past 10 years or 9 years. The
A
tracks
Donkey
don't
Kong game.
a Donkey
gotta
Kong
be-
game has to be out there.
Yeah.
And we know they're thinking about it because they have Mario versus Donkey Kong coming out. Like that is such a random one to bring back.
Yeah. 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 The only surprise, really, I think that we are getting, or one that we didn't even know would be possible, is Princess Peach Showtime.
Yeah. And I think
Otherwise,
that
everything else is a remake.
yeah, because we're getting what? Well, we're getting Super Mario RPG this week. We're getting
Thousand Year Door.
Thousand Year Door, Mario versus Donkey Kong, Luigi's Mansion
Luigi's
2.
Mansion. Yep.
Is that it? Plus Princess Peach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the series, so I'm not gonna speak on it a bunch. But Another Code, that should be a big one.
Is that a Nintendo published game though?
It is. Again, I don't know. So
Well, Stealth
maybe
might
I'm
know
wrong on
because
that.
that's an RPG, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Sure.
it? I don't know. That was a DS game. I have no idea.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, you could see that they're kind of winding down this generation because we're getting a lot of remakes. We're getting a lot of remasters. Like we just got Metroid Prime remaster this year too.
Which got snubbed in
It did
every
get snubbed.
category.
It did get snubbed. I don't know why. I'm assuming because Resident Evil 4 is a remake as opposed to a remaster.
Yeah.
But they should have nominated it for something.
Or that should have been its own category, as
Yeah.
remake and remaster.
It's one of the highest rated games this year. So I don't.
It was so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could talk about the Game Awards a little bit later, which we'll
Sure.
have a full another episode, not next week, but the following week, where we're talking about the Game Awards, and then we have a cool guest for that as well. But I think I think Nintendo learned from the Switch's launch that they need content like upfront. So like the year 2017, we got a Nintendo published game every month.
It was close to every month, but yeah.
Because I'm thinking Breath of the Wild is in March, and
Right.
1-2 Switch, if you want to count that.
Okay, so then
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe
Mario
was
Kart was in April.
I don't remember what May was.
That
ARMS
might have
was
been
June.
ARMS.
ARMS
Oh.
was June because they came out like 3 weeks before Splatoon 2. So Splatoon 2 was in July. Mario plus Rabbids was in
August.
September, I think, was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then Odyssey was in
October. But I do think whatever Xenoblade was, that was a December release.
Was it? I'm pretty sure it came out in September. There's no way to find out.
Yeah. What do you want to bet on it? I think it was December.
Hold on.
All right.
It was December 1st.
Yeah.
Then what came out
I was
in
right
September?
for once.
For once. But anyway, I mean, they released pretty much a title a month, which is nothing like what we got for the Wii U when they came out.
Well, no, and I think the big difference there was they were creating games for Wii U, but they were also creating games for the DS. So
yeah,
the fact that they are only doing one console handheld hybrid is going to allow us to get more games that way. And so do you think that we are going to see new IPs, or because right now they, I would say, are no longer a top 4, but a top 5 is Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, and Pikmin. And Pikmin is probably just because Miyamoto, but it's
I think
doing well.
it's Fire. I think 5 is Fire Emblem.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they are pushing that IP hard. We've
And I
gotten
guess it did grow with the last financials. Engage is the best-selling Fire Emblem.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. But yeah, they have 2 mainline Fire Emblem games on the Switch. They have they have 2 Fire Emblem Warrior games.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are. I wish they would do what they are doing for Fire Emblem for Metroid or for Star Fox. Like try to get these stagnant IPs.
Yeah.
Just inject some love into them. But I think they'll try a new IP. At least one. I mean, we got 2 in the first year. 1, 2 Switch. I know. It's not what everybody wanted, but it is a new IP.
Yep.
And we got ARMS in the first year.
Yeah.
But since then, we got what?
Ring Fit, I think.
Ring Fit, which, that could be a new IP, but you could also say it's off the Fit series, like the Wii Fit, the Wii U Fit.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to categorize that because it was a new IP for Switch, and it's not like they went Switch Fit.
You're forgetting we got Labo. That counts.
Yeah. So we'll probably get some kind of inventive idea from that team.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get a gimmick. Like it's gonna be a Switch, right? I doubt that they're gonna go away from the Switch, but they're probably gonna add another gimmick to it. Kind of like how the 3DS added the 3D gimmick. I'm assuming it's going to be VR, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
but it's interesting. Like when you look back, the Wii U flopped, right? And it came off of the Wii, which was one of their best selling consoles ever, the Wii DS era. But they still didn't really struggle that much because they had the 3DS that was still doing pretty well.
Did the 3DS sell well though? It didn't at the beginning.
It sold like 85 million units or something.
Okay, because I know at the beginning it didn't. That's why we got the Ambassador pack.
Yeah, no, I think it sold like 85 million units, which is more than a lot of their consoles. Like the GameCube only sold 30 million. Well, I actually have the financial data up.
Oh, for the DS. Is the 3DS part of the DS line, or is that separate?
So the 3DS sold 75 million units.
Okay.
Wii U sold 13.5 million. Wii sold 101 million. DS sold 154 million. Game Boy Advance 81 million. Game Boy 118 million. The GameCube was only 21 million. So not much more than the Wii U. N64 was 32 million. Yeah, so they're like home consoles. I mean, I know it's a different era, but their home consoles typically don't sell as well as their handhelds. So I really don't see them going back to a home console, dedicated home console.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't. Like the Switch is great. Like, just need to increase the power. Give it a little bit more capabilities, more customization options. Like I think doing I'm surprised they didn't do a half step with like a Switch Pro.
I mean, I don't know. I guess they did it with the OLED. Like when I think about anytime that they make an improvement, like Game Boy Advance, and then it went from Game Boy Advance SP, they just added a backlight and
But also, that was a clamshell too. Like Game
it
Boy
was a
Advance.
clamshell. Yeah, but I mean that doesn't really change anything.
I mean,
I
it
don't think
looks
the
different.
power changed on it. Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks different. So does the OLED.
Yeah. I mean, I the OLED has the same power. It just has a. I mean, the screen is fantastic. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be very disappointed if they don't launch an OLED.
Well, that's how they get you.
Yeah, I know.
they
Well,
they don't
the
they don't
Steam
launch it
Deck,
with an OLED.
the Steam Deck just announced or revealed. Actually, it's coming out. I think this week that
Yeah.
the Steam Deck OLED is coming out, and there's no like it's the same model, like the same
Mhm.
release model as the Switch. Like they're not even trying anymore. They're like, all right, the Switch knows what, like Nintendo knows what they're doing, so we're gonna release
Just copy that game plan.
this OLED to get a little bit more memory, a little bit more battery life, and here you go, $650. And I'm not getting. I've been always debating on getting a Steam Deck, but I don't play Steam games ever. But I do like the handheld or portability aspect. But now we're probably so close to Nintendo releasing a new, more powerful system that it doesn't make sense to get a Steam Deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So obviously they're going to be making more games. We've seen some big moves from Nintendo this year, or not this year, but this era. They've have had collaborations. They made a theme park. They made a movie. Like what else do you see in their future? They went into mobile gaming. Is mobile gaming something that they're going to continue?
I think, didn't they say they were going to stop or they were going to scale back the mobile? I feel like they said that a while ago.
Maybe, but I mean, I like what you said that their handhelds are the best selling um units that they, or the best. Let me rephrase because I don't know what I'm saying. The handhelds are their best sellers. So it would be kind of cool if we got like mobile games that were attached to our games when we're like away, I guess, like so you don't have to bring your Switch everywhere because even though it's a handheld, it is kind of big to
The
bring around.
modernized
So,
Street Pass.
I mean, yeah,
Put Street
honestly,
Pass on your phone.
that would be great. I would love to be able to play like Table Turf Battle on my phone.
Yeah, I mean that's a missed opportunity. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I want them to. I mean, I want them to integrate these mobile experiences with their console experiences. Like, why can't
Yeah.
I have Pocket Camp stuff in my Animal Crossing New Horizons game, or why can't I get these like skins from Mario Kart Tour into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? I don't know why they haven't done that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're so behind the times sometimes with technology sometimes that they probably have no idea that you could actually do it. Like they're like, probably like what's the internet? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing that they need to change is we need to see them having better servers, better online functionality. Like the very first trailer of the Switch, they show off that there's going to be like Splatoon esports. Like they're really serious about that. But Splatoon is just 4v4 and you can be in the same room. So like that doesn't really give a great impression of their games being great online. That is something I think we need to see going forward.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think we ever will.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think. I think what we got is what we got because as much as I don't want it to be this way, Nintendo is for casuals. And as long as the online works, like they don't care. Like if you watch a Splatoon tournament or well, maybe not Splatoon, but like a Smash Brothers tournament,
Yeah.
they got like items on and like it's like a free for all. Like it's not what like a competitive Smash tournament typically is.
I mean,
So-
that's still a competitive Smash tournament.
Is it
I get-
though?
It
It
is.
has items. No, it doesn't count. It
That's
doesn't
the
count.
way the game
no,
is
no, no,
supposed to
no,
be
no, no, no,
played.
no, no, no. It's not. That is too much RNG or whatever. Get good at Smash.
Why did they put items in if there's not supposed to be items?
For
Like,
casuals.
cool.
For casuals.
It's an option. For you
Leave
to
in the
have
comments
items or
below if you play with items or
not.
not.
Oh my god.
Like a filthy casual.
Anyway,
Probably don't even play with Omega stages on. You probably play that stupid Donkey Kong level.
which one?
The one that's like, I don't even know. It looks like a Donkey Kong Jr. stage, and there's little platforms going up and down.
Yeah, that's just OG Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Don't play on that. It's stupid. That map sucks.
It's okay. Well,
But I mean, I did think when Nintendo showed the Switch and they had the esports arena, I'm like, oh man, they're actually going to lean into
mhm.
competitive gaming. And then, no.
Yeah, I thought that with ARMS. Like, I thought that was going to be one of their games that they were going to go into competitive, like, tournaments with. And they did maybe for a little bit, just on, like, the Nintendo side of things. It didn't really, like, pop off anywhere else. But, I mean, that was kind of disappointing to just see ARMS not get the love that it deserves anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they shot themselves in the foot with ARMS.
Yeah.
Like, you release it, I think it was 3 weeks. 3 weeks before Splatoon 2 comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's stupid. That was a stupid move.
Yeah.
They should have flipped it with, like, Odyssey or something. Like a single-player game. And then have ARMS come out later when not as many people are playing Splatoon 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, having two online, like, live service type games come out at the same time, especially one with being a new IP, that was a dumb idea.
Yeah, but I think they figured out their calendar releases anyway with Mario and just holiday in general. You either have like a Mario game in October or you have a Pokemon game in November. That's pretty much what they've done, and it's worked.
Now we have 2 Mario games this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we have Pokemon DLC. And I guess we had a Pokemon game too with Detective Pikachu that nobody remembers.
Yeah, that was October.
Played.
Yeah.
Because that game sucks.
Did you ever play it?
No.
Oh. So you're just speaking from other people's...
I watched the trailer. I know.
Uh-huh.
I could tell
Yeah.
from the 3 minutes that game sucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Johnny.
Matter of fact, yeah. Not opinion.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, one of the big things I do want to see from Nintendo that we really haven't seen yet is accessibility. It's kind of baffling when you think about how Nintendo, as a family company, doesn't really think about accessibility or have controllers that are accessible, or I don't know, because like as big as the Wii was, you don't think about those that maybe couldn't play motion control. And some of their games were only motion control, and that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they try to have accessibility options in the games themselves, but yeah, I mean, they don't have like the adaptive controllers like Microsoft and PlayStation have,
Mm-hmm.
which I think they will. I mean, it seems like it would seem odd for them not to.
But like, why hasn't it happened yet? That's the thing
because they're
so
10 years
confusing
behind
to
the
me.
times all the time. We're gonna get loot boxes next year.
Whoa. in what game?
Animal Thousand-Year Door.
There's
Oh my-
absolutely
yeah, can
no
you imagine?
reason for there to be loot
No,
boxes
no,
in Paper Mario, but they would do it.
Yeah. See that they are just, I don't know, they get so many things right, but then they're just so behind the times on certain things.
Yeah.
And they're gonna continue to do it. Like, no matter what we want, they're never gonna have dedicated servers, which maybe F-Zero 99 does. I don't know.
I mean, it plays pretty well, and so does Mario Party Mario Party Superstar.
Superstars. They're
Yeah.
never gonna acknowledge competitive Smash Brothers. They're never going to, I don't know, like, they're gonna cater towards the younger and casual crowd all the time, no matter what.
I mean, never say never, right? Like with Nintendo, we didn't think that we would be getting anything F-Zero again, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
think
how
that's-
hard is it to design that game?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a developer.
They use the Super Nintendo graphics.
But then also have 99 people racing at a time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be it for F-Zero. Like, people enjoy it, but then they're just not going to give us anything because that's what Nintendo does. They just don't give us. Because
They
I
give
guarantee. All right, so everybody's begging for an F-Zero game. Everybody's begging for Mother 3. It's going to sell 0 copies or like 300 copies.
Dude, you're saying Mother 3 would sell 0 copies.
It will sell like 300 copies.
No. I mean,
I guarantee Super Mario RPG sells 1 million copies. Like, that's it.
You think it's only going to sell 1 million copies?
It's not going to sell as much as everybody thinks it is.
That's your minimum or your max?
That's like, I would say 1 to 2 million max.
Okay, I'll take you on that. I think the minimum could be 3. And I'll go
Look,
6.
It's not outselling 1-2 Switch. It's just not. It doesn't have the power to outsell 1-2 Switch. Look how much they marketed Pikmin 4, and it couldn't outsell 1-2 Switch.
But it's the best-selling Pikmin game.
But there's 130 million people that own a Switch, and it sells 2 million copies.
That's not technically true. You've said it many times on the Nintendo Powercast, which everybody should listen to.
There's still, I would say, 60, 70 million active players out there. And you're saying 2 million buy that game after how well it reviews, after how much praise it gets. Nobody cares about anything other than Mario or Zelda or Smash Brothers or Mario Kart or Animal Crossing or Pokemon. Like, Mario RPG, super niche.
I didn't hear Splatoon anywhere in there.
I mean, Splatoon 3 didn't outsell Splatoon 2.
Okay. But it's still a thriving series.
But I'm talking about these niche titles.
Uh-huh.
So, like, people aren't going to buy Star Fox. People aren't going to buy F-Zero. So, of course, they're not going to make them. When they can make Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which probably costs a lot less, and sell 20 million copies. Or a new Mario Party that is trash and sell 20 million copies.
I think they could, though. I think these series could sell really well if Nintendo actually gave them a chance. Like they've
given Pikmin so many chances. They've given, like, Metroid Dread sold 3 million, only sold 3 million copies. It's a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
But nobody cares about it.
Well, that's just hurtful.
But it's true though. Like, nobody buys Metroid games. They just don't. And the only if it wasn't on the Switch, it wouldn't be the best selling. Like, how many copies did Return of Samus sell? Like 300,000, maybe? Are
you saying that Metroid Prime 4 isn't going to sell that much?
By the time that game comes out, I'm going to be dead. It's going to be on the Switch 27.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I don't think that's going to sell as well as people think it does. Because I thought Metroid Prime Remastered was going to sell boatloads because it's $40. It sold like maybe 1 million copies, maybe.
Yeah. But like, is that because it's a remake? I get what you're saying now with like Super Mario RPG, maybe also Thousand Year Door. Thousand Year Door might be different because that is it's really an acclaimed game.
But it was
that
also on the
GameCube
GameCube
that a lot of people
that is super niche in itself. GameCube is niche in itself. And then the people that still want it, that's going to sell. I mean, it's a Mario game. So it'll sell
right
more than a normal, like,
it's a Mario game.
I don't.
So
It's gonna. How much did Paper Mario Origami King sell? Not that much. Idea. Not that much. Like, it's gonna sell maybe 2 million copies. And if they announce a new Switch by then, no way. That's not selling anything.
Oh, so you're saying that Thousand Year Door is only gonna sell 2 million copies?
Yeah. So here's how. Like, it's coming out next year, right? So if they announce a new Switch here next year, and they announce a new Mario Kart, a new 3D Mario, a new I don't know what else we could have, new Pokemon game. Like, people are not going to buy Thousand Year Door over those games. There will be a select few that do. Like, releasing games this late in the life is kind of setting them up for failure.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I do want to kind of talk about RPGs because you brought up Super Mario RPG, and maybe you're right. Maybe that is super niche, and as big as RPGs are on Switch, I think we'll continue to see more, but they're not going to be well received because, like with the Game Award nominations, Octopath Traveler 2 didn't get mentioned anywhere.
I think I don't know if this is an issue. I don't know. Maybe this was a problem, but that came out in like February.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of games that came out early in the year just did not get acknowledged at all. Like Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Like that just got...
I mean, that got noticed, but
yeah,
it should have been probably more.
Yeah, it should have been. I think that should have been on the Game of the Year list.
Yeah.
But I think those games that came out earlier... Also, Octopath Traveler didn't sell that well. It didn't sell as much as the first one. RPGs are still... It's not on the best RPG.
I don't think so. I don't think it got mentioned at all.
Let me see. Best
Maybe
RPG.
It did, and I missed it.
Best RPG is Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield.
Is it confusing to you that Lies of P is best RPG?
I guess it's considered an action RPG. It's like those are considered action RPGs, so I could see that. And they I think they wanted to give it some sort of... I think it got best art direction too. Like they wanted to give it a nod at some point. But I mean, RPGs are already pretty niche. And then JRPGs are even more niche. I think the Switch has given them a more prominent platform. Like I'm sure Octopath Traveler 2 sold more on the Switch than it did on PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I think RPGs are... I want to say they're having... Well, I guess they are having kind of a renaissance because Baldur's Gate 3 has been so well received.
Yeah, but I mean, I think even before Baldur's Gate, you can say that they've had kind of a revival with the 2.5 HD or 2.5 HD, whatever we're calling it.
Yeah. 2.5. Yeah, 2. No. HD 2D HD 2D. Yeah.
What? It doesn't matter. We don't know what it is. It just looks pretty.
Yeah, it looks
pretty. I think that there's been a Reinsurgence. Is that the right word? Did I say that correctly? It doesn't matter.
Resurgence. I think resurgence.
Yeah, of RPGs because of the way that they look. The lighting has been really great.
But like how many more, like there are a lot of 2D HD 2D RPGs out there now.
Mm-hmm.
And now they all kind of look the same. Like it was a cool novel concept when Octopath Traveler came out. Like it looked beautiful. But now I mean I just played a little bit of Star Ocean, Second Story R, that's in that same.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's that
Live Alive.
Live Alive. That tactical one. I forget what that was called. What was that called?
Triangle Strategy.
Strategy. So you have 2 Octopaths. I think there's a Dragon Quest in that art style.
Yeah.
So like, is it becoming oversaturated already?
Maybe. It's funny. We just went to go see Into the Spider-Verse with a live orchestra, and that was a amazing way to see that movie. And I've seen that movie so many times, but I do think that it has lost some of its appeal because of how many animated movies we are seeing and that kind of art style. Like Spider-Verse was the first one to do it, but now going back to it, it does kind of look like everything else that we have gotten recently.
Yeah, because I know when I'm watching a Nintendo Direct and I see one of these HD 2D games come out, I'm like, I have no idea what game this is because it just looks like this other game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no. I mean, I do think they do try to differentiate a little bit. Like Star Ocean has like hyper realistic backgrounds, which I don't think. I wouldn't say Octopath Traveler has hyper realistic backgrounds. So it's a little bit different, but if you see them next to each other, you're like, these are the same game.
So if they're so niche, why do they keep making more of them?
They're probably cheap to make.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, we just, even if I know that like myself, I'm not really a big RPG person, and that's not in the sense of I don't like them. I just haven't played enough to really know if I enjoy them. Live Alive really was a huge surprise for me because that's not even a game I thought that I would like, and then I saw people talking about it online, and I was like, all right, you know what, I'll go pick it up. And it was a really cool experience. And then, you know, I've played like Pokemon, I've played the Mario and Luigi series and Paper Mario, so I know it's not like traditional RPG.
I wouldn't even call Pokemon's RPG light. It's baby's first RPG.
Well, good. I'm glad I played them. When it works correctly, right?
Oh yeah. Don't buy Pokemon right now.
I don't know. I mean, I just think for the future of RPGs, whatever the next console is, we'll definitely see probably more than what we already have on Switch, which Stealth shared an image of all of the RPGs that we have on Switch. And honestly, I think there's probably more that just wasn't.
Hold on. I'm going to see if I could actually pull this up and put it. Well, you might not be, you're not going to be able to see it, but I'm going to try to put it into OBS.
Okay.
And so the audience could also see. But no, I mean, I think the Switch has been phenomenal for RPGs and JRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have formed a great partnership with Square Enix. You know, we're getting Super Mario RPG. We're getting all of these, like Octopath Traveler. That was a exclusive, I believe, for at least a bit.
Yeah.
I put it in the wrong. Sorry, I put it in the wrong spot. I'm getting.
We're trying something new. This is why you watch on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, because you're either gonna see us succeed or you're gonna see us fail. But we'll get it one day.
This is big. I don't even know how to. All right, I'm just gonna put it in the middle of us. Okay, it's hard. It's really hard. It's honestly hard to see because there's so many of them. But you have the Xeno. People love Xenoblade Chronicles. They love them. There was a lot of discussions when the Game Awards nominations came out that the DLC, which I think is what I made the thumbnail, the Future Redeemed or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they think it got snubbed for best RPG.
I mean, I can't speak on it because I haven't played it, but I can imagine. I also heard like music too. People thought that it should have got nominated for.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I've played some of Xenoblade. Like I played a bit of each of them, which I've always wanted to go back, but they just seem so overwhelming. That's my issue with these RPGs. They're just so big and overwhelming. Like I put like 5 to 10 hours into each and then I'm like, "Oh, there's just so much left." When I hear that a game's like 80 hours, I'm like, "Ugh, I don't want to play that." But yeah, the Xenoblade franchise is very strong. That's going to continue into the next Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Live Alive is up the top. That was well received. Shin Megami Tensei is the one underneath.
Mm-hmm.
That I think Shin Megami Tensei 5 is the best selling in the series. Actually, I think. Well, no, that one. So there's two Shin Megami Tensei games on here.
And those are like spin-offs of Fire Emblem, correct?
No. So
Okay.
Shin Megami Tensei is what Persona spinned off of.
Oh.
So Persona is
okay.
related to
Yeah, that
which
makes
Persona is huge. Like Persona 5 is like like a franchise on its own. Like there's so many things related to Persona 5 itself. There's Persona 5 Strikers, there's Persona 5 Tactica that's coming out this week.
Royale.
I mean, that's just an expanded Persona 5.
Hmm.
But that game coming to the Switch, people said it wasn't possible. Like they didn't think that game would be able to run. But these JRPGs and RPGs fit so well with Nintendo and with the Nintendo fan base. Like that is going to carry. If there's any gaps in release schedule, an RPG should be able to carry it.
Yeah.
I forgot about something. Like there's 2 Fire Emblem games on here. There's Triangle Strategy, 2 Octopath. There's Bravely Default, which I know what people love.
Yeah.
I don't know what a lot of these are. I can't even see. There's some Final Fantasies, which I could see. There was a rumor that we're gonna get that Final Fantasy remake was going to be a launch title for the new system. So I'll be really interested to hear Stealth's thoughts on all of these games.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have so much to say, more than what you and I have to say about RPGs, and maybe that's something that like we get into next year, is kind of delving deeper into the genre and seeing what people love about them so much.
I mean, I think personally, the ones that I like Fire Emblem. Like I played a lot of 3 Houses. Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS is one of my favorite games on 3DS. I think it is probably one of the best games on 3DS. And that I think that's more strategy, but I mean it's the character relationships, it's the animation style, it's the music, it's the battle systems. Like there's a lot to these games that it's just different from your typical action or platformer game.
Yeah.
Like I thought Fire Emblem, what's that called? No.
Engage?
Not Engage. It's the one that was the cross between Shin Megami Tensei. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. That had such a cool battle system. It was like music and it's just fascinating. Like that is what, because you would look at this list and be like, all these kind of look the same. But then if you would play them, they all have different battle systems. They all have different Like Xenoblade Chronicles, you're in tutorials for 40, 50 hours. Like you're getting tutorials at endgame. So,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them are just satisfying to play, like grinding to level up your characters are just kind of fun to play or fun to do. Like I love doing that. Like that, you've played Fire Emblem, right? Or at least maybe the mobile game.
Yeah, yeah.
So that sound that plays when you level up a character,
Mm-hmm.
that is so satisfying to me.
Yeah, I
That-
really wanted to play Fire Emblem Engage this year, but then it came out at a really bad time for me, so I skipped it. But I do think that it's probably a series I could get into because, like you said, it's more tactics, kind of a chess game.
I think I think you would like it more than Advance Wars. Advance Wars is
And
very
that's great.
Advance Wars I think is harder. I don't know. But there's more to Fire Emblem than there is to Advance Wars. There's more relationship building
Yeah,
and like story wise there's just more to it.
yeah.
And like Fire Emblem, Nintendo clearly believes in it. We have 20 Fire Emblem Smash Brothers characters. We have so many Fire Emblem games on the Switch. And it's not going to stop. I could honestly see them launching a Fire Emblem game with the next system. Because by the time the system comes out, it's probably been 2-3 years since Engage. Which I want to go back.
They can't launch every game with the release of the system.
It would be the best launch ever. People wouldn't be able to afford how many games are going to be out for it. Be the best launch ever. But yeah, I think moving forward, they're gonna be as huge. RPGs are huge over in Japan. A lot of their player base is in Japan. They're gonna lean heavily in Japan.
Yeah. Anything else you want to go over? Like movies or more additions to their theme park? Something just completely out of left field? More Lego sets? Like, where does Nintendo? Where's like the biggest that they could go in the future?
So Nintendo, I think they're doing a great job with expanding their IP.
Yeah.
I think they have amusement parks.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's going to be one opening up in Florida, it's going to be the same thing.
That apparently is going to have the Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it'll just be a
coaster.
little bit bigger, but it'll be the same as California. We just got the announcement of a Legend of Zelda movie.
Yep.
And I could see them doing more Mario movies clearly because that was super successful.
It's a franchise.
Yeah.
They mentioned it in their financials.
And that's just whatever. I think they even mentioned this. Whatever they need to do to expand the reach to get more eyes on their IP and movies, how $1 billion made $1 billion, and they even in their financials they even said it increased the sales of the Mario like property games,
Even mobile.
yeah. So more movies. I love the Lego. I don't know how well their partnership is doing with Lego, but we just got the Piranha Plant, which is adorable. It's more affordable than the other 18 plus sets that they've made. We're getting Animal Crossing Lego next year. So they don't have all their eggs in one basket. And I think the future is very bright. I don't see them ever coming down off that hill.
Yeah. It will be exciting to see because, like I mentioned at the beginning, they've had collaborations with different companies, so it's been really cool to see them working with different like clothing companies, makeup companies.
Don't charge so much though. The Pikmin shirts were super expensive, I think.
Yeah, they were. They had their collaboration with the aquarium in Seattle for Animal Crossing, so that was cool. Yeah, just anything that they can do. They had a lot of touring locations for the Switch. Like they would just go around and have their um, areas where they would be setting up shop and come by, come play, give you kind of a taste of what you might be missing on Switch for those like you and I who, have pretty much played everything like first party. It's not as great of an experience, but it's still cool to see them like branching out.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a scratchy throat. I don't know if you could hear. I muted it on OBS, but I don't know if it came through for you.
Yeah, no, I do think that it came through. I think you got to mute it on Discord.
I should just mute it. Well, I don't know. It will still come through. Whatever. The listeners won't hear it, but I do want to hear what the listeners, how they think the state of Nintendo is right now. Or I mean, we make Nintendo content on all platforms. Sure. We know what people say about Nintendo. We know that it's the kiddie company. The only people that buy their stuff are like neckbeards and.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it too much, but I did see, and this is something I think going into Nintendo that does kind of worry me with the mindset that some people have. Like people calling Dave the Diver indie, which it got nominated for Best Independent Game. It's not an independent game, but they're saying that it looks like it's an independent game because it's pixelated. And then there were comments underneath that were like, well, what about Hi-Fi Rush? And they're like, oh, I think Hi-Fi Rush looks independent. And it's like, that's not what independent means. It doesn't mean the look of it. But I feel that is how a lot of quote unquote gamers feel about Nintendo, is that the look of it looks more of like an independent kind of, they're doing their best versus something that you have with like Microsoft and Sony that are making better looking games, but like it's not always about that.
Subjective.
Yeah, it's subjective.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are some of the most gorgeous games I've ever played. And like Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion, like the games are beautiful.
Origami King, have you seen that water?
But I mean, there is a stigma around Nintendo. And that's all right. I'll laugh all the way to the bank when these people make fun of me, and I just keep racking up those views.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, where can people find you?
I'm Johnnybo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and the Nintendo Powercast, where we talked about I forgot the end of it. Yeah. Where we talked about the financials more in depth. We talked about the Legend of Zelda movie more in depth. So check that out as well.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. CheezyC64, CheezyC64, also on the Nintendo Powercast. I guess I forgot it too. I stumbled over.
It's like a brain fart.
Yeah.
Anyway, vote for Tears of the Kingdom for Game of the Year.